This is where I'm expecting Riot to be over the course of the next 2 to 4 weeks. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. I just want to take a minute before I get started in this video to thank everybody. This is a fairly new channel, and we've been having some good success. We're coming up on 4,000 subscribers, so if you haven't, please smash the subscribe button and the like button on this video if you like this video. I've been trading stocks for a long time, although I've only been doing this YouTube channel for a very short period of time. So I just wanted to let everybody know I started this channel to try to show people my thought process and how I buy and sell stocks, because there's so many YouTubers, there's so much misinformation out there. There's some good YouTubers obviously as well, but the amount of information coming at people is overwhelming. So I've been trying to show people not just what stocks I'm looking at, but how I look at them and kind of try to give you the benefit of my experience. We have been on a roll on this channel for the last month. Almost every stock we've covered has had a really good month. We've had great run-ups in the Bitcoin miners, but even the retail stocks that we've talked about on this channel have had excellent runs recently. So again, this is not financial advice, and that doesn't mean that every time we do a video, the stock is going to skyrocket the next day. We happen to be on a little winning streak, so count our blessings. With that said, today I want to talk about a Bitcoin mining company called Riot, stock ticker RIOT. So Riot put out their October in production operations update today. I wanted to go through it because, in my opinion, it is spectacular. There's some stuff in here that I think is extremely encouraging, and Riot has been a beaten down stock. I did do a video on this last month, and it started to rally since then. We'll look at the chart later, but this stock has been beaten down, and I think there's a lot of room to the upside, and there's an awful lot of information in this press release. So I really want to kind of go through it line by line and talk about what's going on, and then we'll take a look at the chart and take a look at the current price and maybe where we think it's going in the future. Okay, so Riot Blockchain announces October production and operations update. Riot produced 464 Bitcoins in October 2021 and announces an increase in targeted hash rate for 2022. So I'll get into that more later. That's pretty much the first time this year they've announced an increase in their targeted hash rate. So that is actually big news. So let's just look at their production updates. The first bullet point, in October, Riot produced 464 Bitcoin, an increase of approximately 433% over its October 2020 production of 87 Bitcoin. 2021 to 2020 isn't really very meaningful. Obviously, that's a massive, massive amount of growth. But what I'm looking at is from September of this year to October of this year. Riot mined 406 Bitcoin in September, and that was basically tied for first out of all the North American miners. Hive, with the Ethereum translated to Bitcoin, had a Bitcoin equivalent of 407. Riot did 406. So those guys were the leaders in September. So now to go into October, where the difficulty level continues to increase, they increased their mining month over month by about 14%, which is outstanding. A lot of miners over the past several months have actually been decreasing the amount of Bitcoin that they've mined due to the increase in difficulty level. But Riot has continued to increase their number of Bitcoin. 464 this month is 14% more than last month. And so that is an outstanding result for the month of October. So year to date through October 2021, the company produced a total of 2,921 Bitcoin. That is somewhere at the very top of all the Bitcoin miners. They may be in first place. I am putting a chart together that I'll put out later this week once everybody gives their operations update, but I suspect this is either at or near the top of the list. So as of October 31st, 2021, Riot held approximately 3,995 Bitcoin, all produced by the company's self-mining operations. Like most of the other miners, they are hodling their Bitcoin. They're at almost 4,000 as of October 31st, so probably by today they're over 4,000 for sure. So this is an area that they were lagging in coming into the year in 2021, but they have significantly caught up with the amount of Bitcoin that they've mined and held on to. They went from having less than a lot of their competition to catching up to and passing a bunch of their competition. Now, Marathon has more Bitcoin on their balance sheet over 7,000, but they did buy like 4,000 or 5,000 of those at the beginning of this year. So those weren't self-mined. However, they did buy them, I'm sure at a good price. So, you know, they're reaping the benefits of having those on the balance sheet. But my point is, Riot has closed the gap very much over the course of the year. So to have 4,000 of these on their balance sheet, that's about $250 million, $250 million roughly from a retail standpoint based on the Bitcoin trading price for today. So that is excellent. Okay, next bullet point. Riot currently has a deployed fleet of approximately 27,270 miners with a hash rate capacity of 2.8 exahash per second. So 2.8 is at or near the lead of what everybody is doing right now. I believe these guys are virtually the same as Marathon. However, you will note Marathon also put out their production numbers for the month of October, and they mined 417 Bitcoin with virtually the exact same mining capacity. So Riot continues to be a lot more efficient than Marathon at the moment at mining Bitcoin. And there's several reasons for that. Marathon has their own pool. They're still working out some of the kinks. They do have some downtime each month lately as a result of that. Mining purchase orders and increase in estimated hash rate for 2022. Riot recently completed a $54 million purchase order with Bitmain Technologies for 9,000 S19j Pro, that's the 100 terahertz per second miners, with an anticipated delivery and deployment schedule set for May of 2022 through October of 2022. So that's about the normal lead time on these at this point. But what I wanted to point out is that is the first time, maybe all year, at least in the last 6 months, that Riot has put in a purchase order. They've been announcing 7.7 as their 2022 goal since almost the beginning of the year. My guess is there's a lot more purchase orders to come where this one came from. This gets them up to 8.6 exahash next year, and I suspect they'll go well beyond that. There's another thing that they're doing that is very noteworthy, so I want to go through that as well. By Q4 2022, Riot anticipates a total self-mining hash rate capacity of 8.6 exahertz, not including any expected incremental productivity gains from the capacity's utilization of 200 megawatts of immersion cooling infrastructure. They talk about the effects of this immersion cooling up here, and they say, based on industry data and the company's own preliminary immersion cooling test results, an estimated 25% increase in hash rate is expected, with an estimated potential to increase ASIC performance by as much as 50%. So by implementing this immersion cooling on a large scale, they're potentially going to increase their mining by somewhere between 25 and 50% just with the same amount of equipment that they have. So this is going to be a scenario where it's going to get harder and harder to compare hash rate to hash rate, because based on the technology and the cooling method and the efficiency, certain miners may be able to get a lot more out of their machines. So this remains to be seen. They haven't done this yet, but they're talking about a massive increase in efficiency here on these machines. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but that could turn their 8.6 exahash, you know, into the equivalence of maybe 10 or 11 exahash just by the function of the fact that they're using a superior technology. That's an awful lot going on for their October monthly update. So that was a lot of positive news, and I want to take a look at the chart now because I think there's still massive upside left. So you can see from October 29th to November 2nd, Riot had a run-up of about 21%. So that was a great few days. They're having a little bit of a pullback today, even though they just announced this spectacular press release. Most of the Bitcoin mining companies are cooling off a little today. We just came off of back-to-back days of really excellent performance. Riot, I believe, was up 13% just yesterday. I think this represents a unique opportunity, having such good news come out on a day where the market is giving back a little. I think this allows a buying opportunity, and I'm going to show you where I think this is going. And again, please, this is not financial information. These are my charts. I'm showing you my thought process. You guys got to decide if this makes sense and do your own due diligence and make your own buying decisions. But I will show you this is what I'm looking at, and this is how I see it. Basically, I drew a horizontal and a vertical line at yesterday's close. So yesterday Riot closed at $31.90, so around $32. I have had this purple line on here for a while. That is a 2 to 4 week price target, so I'm looking for Riot to go from, it's at about $31 right now, to $40. From its current prices trading at right now, if it runs up to $40, that's a 29% increase in the next 2 to 4 weeks, in my opinion. So that's what I think the upside is. Basically, I'm going to draw a triangle, because with these lines, this is where I'm expecting Riot to be over the course of the next 2 to 4 weeks. So we're a little under that right now due to the reasons we just talked about. But I very much see Riot breaking above this line, holding this as support around $31, and working its way up. You know, I don't know if there's going to be some retests in the middle, but working its way up and past $40. So $40 is nowhere near Riot's all-time high. So since September 1st, Riot had a very tough September and a very tough first few weeks of October. Since then, it seems to be getting healthy. But you will see I've added an orange line here, which represents Bitcoin's activity versus Riot's activity from September 1st through today. So in that period of time, that's about 2 months, Riot is down 16%, while at the same time, Bitcoin is up 31%. That's about a 47% difference in the performance between Riot and Bitcoin itself. Now, as I always say on this channel, the Bitcoin miner should be a leverage play on Bitcoin, so they should be outperforming Bitcoin over the long run. In any given short period of time, stuff like this can happen, but when it does, if it's a good miner, and everything we just went through leads me to believe these guys are on the right track, I believe it will make up the ground it's lost on Bitcoin and play some catch up here. So I'm looking for a nice run in the month of November, and I'm not looking. And that doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go to $100,000 for this to happen. If Bitcoin stays healthy and has a decent month, I'm looking for Riot to get up to $40 and maybe beyond. So again, I don't have a crystal ball, so this is how I'm looking at the chart. This is some of the information that I'm using to come up with my game plan. Riot is a buy and hold for me. So whether you want to swing trade it or buy and hold it or not buy it at all, you guys have to make your own decision. Those are my thoughts on Riot Blockchain, and thank you so much. And again, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you like content on Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners, we're following the miners very closely. So if you enjoy that, please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you.